You do it by forging an unshakable inner strength, an invisible weapon that makes you untouchable. Imagine this. You've invested so much of yourself into someone, your time, energy, emotions, everything. And now, they're pulling away. The usual reaction? Anxiety, overthinking, a desperate need to pull them back in. But not you, because this time you're going to handle it differently. Instead of reacting with fear, you turn inward. You start focusing on something far more important, building yourself. And this is where everything changes. Let's look at it through the lens of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is exactly what you're about to do. You're shifting your focus from trying to control them to mastering yourself. This isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't care. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that your worth isn't defined by their presence or absence. So what does it mean to build this inner weapon? It means making yourself resilient, immune to rejection, unbothered by indifference, and completely independent of their validation. It means elevating your mind, your body, and your life so profoundly that their behavior no longer dictates your emotions. And here's the paradox. When you stop chasing, when you redirect that energy inward, they feel the shift. The balance of power changes. Suddenly, you're no longer waiting for them. You're focused on something far more valuable. That's when they notice. That's when they start wondering. Because nothing is more intriguing than someone who doesn't need anyone to feel whole. But understand this, forging this inner weapon takes discipline. It requires breaking the habit of seeking external reassurance. It demands that you put yourself first, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Because you are not someone who crumbles when someone pulls away. You are someone who rises. Someone who becomes stronger in their absence. Someone who understands that true power comes from within, not from another person's approval. And if you're thinking, but I love them, I don't want to lose them, let me tell you this. Choosing yourself doesn't mean losing them. In fact, it's the only way to win. Either they return, realizing your value, or you evolve so much that you no longer feel the need to wait. Either way, you win. Your personal growth is non-negotiable. So start now. Pour into yourself. Cultivate habits that make you stronger. Go to the gym. Learn something new. Build connections with people who inspire you. The more you invest in yourself, the more untouchable you become. Every time you feel the urge to reach out, to check your phone, to overanalyze their silence, pause. Redirect that energy. Ask yourself, what am I doing today to make myself stronger tomorrow? That's how you build the inner weapon. Seneca once said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." This isn't about how many times you reach out, how long you wait, or how much you analyze their actions. It's about the quality of your life, your strength, your evolution. Forge the weapon within you, the one that makes their silence powerless. Because the moment you realize how strong you truly are, they will feel it too. And by then, you'll be the one deciding if they even deserve a place in your life. And here's the truth. Most people never reach this level of strength. They stay trapped in cycles of overthinking, overgiving, and overexplaining. They beg for closure, for reassurance, for attention. But not you. You're stepping into a different league. One where your emotions don't control you, where rejection doesn't break you, and where distance doesn't shake your foundation. Because you understand something most people don't. Attachment breeds suffering. The more you cling, the more you suffer. But when you detach, not out of coldness, but out of wisdom, you free yourself. And when you're free, you become dangerous. Not in a harmful way, but in a way that makes people respect you. Your presence becomes a privilege, not a guarantee. Now, let's talk about the shift that happens when you embrace this mindset. At first, it feels uncomfortable. There's an urge to check their social media, to analyze their last message, to find signs of hope. But then, something powerful happens. You redirect that energy. You start focusing on you. And suddenly, your world expands. You're no longer trapped in the prison of waiting. Instead, you're out there, living, growing, evolving. You become the kind of person who naturally attracts rather than chases. Because here's the paradox. When you stop making someone the center of your universe, they start noticing your absence. They start feeling the space you left behind. And often, they come back, not because you chase them, but because they feel the shift in you. But by then, you might not even want them anymore. Because by then, You've built something far more valuable than their attention. You've built yourself, and that is the real victory. See, when you reach this stage, something remarkable happens. You no longer seek validation from the outside. You don't crave their messages, their approval, or their presence to feel whole. You've mastered the art of detachment, and in doing so, you've unlocked something most people never do: inner peace. And inner peace, that's power. Because when you have it, you move differently. You speak differently. You no longer react emotionally to people who try to test you. Instead, you observe. You evaluate. You decide whether someone deserves access to you. And that's where the dynamic shifts. They start to sense that they no longer own a space in your mind. They start wondering why you're not reacting like before, why you're not reaching out, why you seem unbothered. And the more indifferent you become, the more curious they get. Because here's the reality. People don't value what's always available. They don't chase what's constantly chasing them. But when something they once took for granted pulls away, when that energy, that presence, that consistency suddenly disappears, they notice. And then, without even trying, you become unforgettable. But here's the thing. By the time they realize your worth, you've already elevated beyond them. Because the real win isn't in making them miss you. It's in reaching a place where their absence doesn't affect you at all. Where you're so immersed in your own growth, your own purpose, your own evolution, that whether they return or not, it doesn't matter anymore. Because you matter more. And that's the moment when everything shifts. Not because you played mind games, not because you tried to manipulate anyone, but because you outgrew the version of yourself that once needed them. You stopped relying on their presence to feel whole. You stopped waiting for their messages to feel validated. Instead, you poured that energy back into yourself. You focused on becoming stronger, wiser, more grounded. You built a life that felt rich with purpose. A life where you didn't need anyone to complete you because you had already found completeness within. And when you reach that point, you become magnetic. Not because you're seeking attention, but because you're radiating a rare kind of strength. People sense it. They feel it in the way you walk, in the calmness of your voice, in the way you no longer react emotionally to things that once triggered you. That calmness is not weakness, it's control. You've mastered your emotions. You've stopped giving your energy to people who drain you. And now, you only invest in those who deserve your presence because you've realized that protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. And here's the most powerful truth. The moment you stop chasing others is the moment you give them a reason to chase you. But by then, you won't be playing that game anymore because you'll be too busy living a life so full, so grounded in your own strength, that whether they come back or not, it simply won't matter because you've already won. And that's the beauty of true transformation. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's not about making them regret leaving or forcing them to notice you. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that no longer needs to seek approval. Because when you reach that point, your energy shifts, and suddenly, the things you once chased start finding their way to you. You stop begging for love, and suddenly, love starts appearing in unexpected places. You stop craving validation, and suddenly, people start respecting you more than ever before. But here's the truth. By the time all of that happens, you'll have already moved past the need for it. Because you'll have realized that the greatest victory isn't winning someone back. It's finding peace in letting go. It's understanding that some people are meant to leave, not because you weren't enough, but because their chapter in your story had simply reached its end. And in that space, in that stillness, you'll find something far greater than what you once chased. You'll find yourself. The version of you that doesn't need to be seen to feel worthy. The version that doesn't need to be loved to feel complete. The version that is whole, calm, and powerful, all on its own. And that's when you'll understand. The most powerful thing you can ever do is walk away quietly with your head held high, not out of spite, but out of strength. Because when you master the art of walking away, not to punish them, but to protect your own peace, you win a battle they didn't even know you were fighting. And that's when the world stops. And suddenly, they can't ignore you. So remember, the greatest transformation happens not when you try to make others notice you, but when you become so deeply grounded in your own peace that their recognition no longer defines your worth. Thank you for watching Awaken Reflections. Until next time, stay strong, stay mindful, and embrace the quiet power within you.